Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to you all for the first webinar session organized by the Youth Leaders Club in the Bahrain. Myself, Shafiq Ahmed Javed, I am the facilitator for you for this webinar session. I'm really excited to see you all. YLC has started in the year 2018 with a group of students for their benefit in terms of enhancing their communication and leadership skills. Like another summer, like all summer, a lot of camps for the young kids used to be organized by many associations and organizations. But this is something, an innovative idea which has come up from the students themselves of the Youth Leaders Club to conduct a program for the youngsters who are going to step in the new world in few years, in the upcoming few years. So this program has a series of webinar sessions wherein it will give a complete outline of various things which we are going to face in our life, starting with the banking, which is the current webinar, which is live on. We will be coming up with marketing, we will be coming up with IT, how to create YouTube videos, of course, the storytelling for making it more fun and enrichment. When I talk about learning, it's going to be an ongoing process. There is no age limit, there is no bar, no age, no restrictions. At any age, anyone can learn from anybody. So when I say this, we need to have a clear atmosphere especially when we are for the kids, when they are out of the classroom and they are sitting in front of the colorful screen, they get easily distracted. Just to make the focus on what we are going to learn, we'll have to just do a small exercise here just to create an atmosphere that we restrict ourselves and focus on what is being told. What I suggest all the kids, I'll just give you 1 minute time. Those who don't have a pen and paper, I request everyone to just immediately grasp a paper and a pen, a white paper and a pen. You have 1 minute time. So why it is important is, whatever things we learn, whatever things we hear, just to jot it down, and we will be having a question session at the end of this program. You can even note down your questions and you can shoot your questions at the end of this program. So I'll be pleased to answer all your queries. So are we good to go now? Great. Banking, you all might be thinking, why is it required at this stage when we have no use of it? When we're not going to use anything now. But in the near future, banking is going to hit your life and you will have to take it whether you like or you don't like it. And at that point of time, becoming embarrassed of listening to the terms of listening to the banking terms and thinking it's so big and you are not comfortable with it. So it is better to understand, to learn things so that you will be easy when all these things come in your life. So let's start with the presentation from where it starts. You are going to grow up, you are going to have all these banking transactions, everything. You are going to listen to this, you are going to experience all these terms in future. So it is better to keep yourself updated and keep learning on what banking is all about. So I'm going to just share you a screen, a wow screen. By seeing this, I'm sure your eyes will keep open. I'm just sharing you something here. Just allow me a moment. Yeah, here it comes. What do you see here? It's all money.
Money.
Very
A
good.
lot of money.
Are you all excited?
Yes.
This is where everything starts. What we see here is money. And how this money will come into our life? We will have to
For eating
earn
food
it.
and
By doing hard work.
Yeah, by doing hard work. And how, in what source? So this
By business or
come
doing a
in the
job.
form of a salary. You are employed with a Google or some other company, a big company, and you get salaries month on month, and money flows in the form of salary, and you earn money here. The second thing, how you can get money is you trade or you do some business or you become a professional like a doctor or a lawyer, and the fees, the professional fees, or if you are doing a business, the money flows in the form of profit. So the third one would be like house rent. You have multiple houses and you have let out and you get rent month on month and money comes in. And this is something new to you. All the above three you would have heard before, and this is dividend. Dividend is nothing but a amount which you have invested in any company and you are getting a share from the profit. So here you will be getting a profit again from a company where you have invested money. Fine. So when you have all received and you have got this money, so what you will do with this? You will have to
Invest.
spend. You will spend this money where? In buying house, buying flat, or buying a piece of land. You go to your holiday wherever you like. You go on a vacation, you buy gold, you buy jewels, a desired car, and of course, gadgets will keep following when you have all this. Right?
Yes, sir.
Till this, it is fine. And now,
yes,
these are the things which you are going to look into. A beautiful house, a piece of land, you may own a few of these buildings where you can get rent, and a dream car, gold, jewelry, and gadgets, of course.
dream
Right?
life.
So when we say all this, it is owned by you. When you own this, when you earn, spend, and buy all this, when you own all these things, then it becomes your asset. So this is what is called assets. Whatever you own, that is assets. So let's come to the next screen. At times, our savings are not sufficient. We may require additional amount to meet our expenses or to overcome the situation. Okay, at that time, we will borrow money from others. Right? So when the money which is whatever we have saved is not sufficient and we have to overcome or we have to get into something, then we need to borrow money. And how we will borrow money and from whom we will borrow money? It is either from friends or relatives. If it is a small amount, your friends and relatives may help you. And if it is a long term, where if it is a big amount or you have to repay in a long time, then you will go for a loans from the banks. And if it is within your budget and you can manage it within a short time, that means you can use your credit card. So all these things, when I say, these are all the amount which you are owing to anybody, somebody from whom you have bought this. Okay, if you have taken money from your friends or relatives, you have to return it back. If you have taken a loan, you have to pay back in the form of an equated monthly installments, that is EMI, which we will look in our next session. And of course, the credit cards you have heard, but we will see little bit into detail about this in our next session. So this credit card, a limit has been given to us, and we will use it and we will repay it in a short time. So this is how we borrow money and we spend and we repay on that. All these, when I say it is to be repaid, it becomes your liability. Okay, whatever we own, in our previous slide what we saw, whatever we own is our assets, and whatever we owe, where we have to return back, where we have to pay back, that all becomes our liability, right? This is the simple mantra of what is assets and what is liabilities. So assets, what you own, liabilities are what you owe. And at any given point of time in your life, remember this, your assets has to be more than your liabilities. So that shows what is your worth. Normally people used to ask, how's your health? So everyone says, I'm fine. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. But nobody asks you, how is your wealth? So how to calculate your wealth? What is wealth? Whatever we have, that is whatever assets we have. So that minus the liabilities, what we are going to give it. It goes something like this: assets, what we have, and the liabilities, what we are supposed to give it or supposed to repay. And this is the calculation for net worth. This is what you are worth. This is your net worth. This is what is your wealth. For example, if you have an asset of 10 lakh dinars and you have a liability of 2 lakh dinars, so then it becomes to your net worth is 8 lakhs. Understand? Fine. So next, now we will go on to the, so this is what is the positive net worth. So any time it has to be, your assets has to be more than your liabilities. Okay, this is what we have to manage in your finance. So whenever you handle finance, this is the mantra. You will have to keep it in your mind and you will have to work out a schedule accordingly. Okay, so the next, this is where, you know, we get into the banking sector. Okay, when we talk about salaries, self-employed, so everyone, even in a professional life, even whether you become a doctor, engineer, lawyer, or you have a rental income or whatever kind of income is there, then you will be investing it either in form of purchase, in the form of purchasing home, in the form of purchasing jewels or whatever it is. So these transactions will have to be done through the banking. And not only that, banking is the most essential part which we will have to face in the near future. So what are the general terms, general things which commonly used by the people? So these are all few things. Whenever a bank has been told this is the things which hits our mind. Accounts, you know, deposits, lockers, finance, loans. So these are all things which is generally used by common people. So we will just look into what is accounts. So what type of accounts are there? There are savings account, which is used, which can be opened by any individual for his short-term and long-term savings. We have it goes something like this. The savings is required for the rainy days. Have you all heard about the grasshopper and the ant story? This has been taught to us when we are second or third grade. So what is the moral of this story? No, the story goes like this. Grasshopper, and during the summer it was enjoying, and the ant used to pick small grains for the rainy days. and it saves its food. And grasshopper, it was all enjoying. When the rainy days come, it have no food for, and it goes into starving. Okay, so the ant saves for its rainy days. That is what is important here. The moral of the story is that you have to save for the rainy days. Here we have to save money for the coming requirements. Like if you wanted to buy a laptop, because now everyone is using digital things. That's why I'm taking this example. Maybe in 4 or 5 months back, you might not be required a laptop or a tab, but now it has become a necessary. So these kind of uncertain situations comes, and we'll have to be prepared for it. So that is why savings is required. And the current account is basically for, in India, all these accounting concepts, what I'm telling is based on Indian account banking system. So the current account is basically opened or operated by the companies, trusts, and corporates, government departments. So all these departments and companies, businesses, everything uses current account. And NRI account, of course, you might be knowing, NRI is non-resident Indian. When you are out of the country, and you can open an account in India for your savings, right? So this is what the commonly used accounts in India by common people. Then we will move on to the deposits. So deposits, there are different type of deposits, like fixed deposit, term deposit, recurring deposit. Fixed deposit is a long-term deposit wherein you put a fixed amount for a certain period of time. For example, you have put 10,000 rupees, starting from 10,000 to any amount, let's say 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, but that amount is fixed for a fixed period. For say 5 years you have put it. You have invested today and you have deposited, and it's for 5 years. Term deposits, you have short term and long term. Long term, of course, it goes into fixed deposit. Term deposits, it is for a period of 3 months, 5 months, 10 months, 12 months of a year. So you can put it in for a term deposit. You can deposit it for a short term, and you can withdraw it. So this is the term deposit. A recurring deposit is something which is useful for people who have a small savings month on month. Like every month, they are sure about that they could save some 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees, or 2,000 rupees. This 2,000 fixed, they can put it in a recurring deposit month on month. Every month, this 2,000 rupees, they can put it for a certain period of time. Say 5 years, 6 years. The maximum given time is 10 years. So this is the types of deposits which normally people use. And lockers, of course, banks has lockers. Why we need lockers? Why banks has lockers is because to save the risk part. We have important documents kept at home. If something goes wrong, maybe it get destroyed, a rat could destroy it, some fire could happen, and it could get theft, jewels, documents. So all these precious things, all these important things, keeping at home is risky. To avoid this risk, we deposit this in our personal locker, which is kept at the bank. We will have a key, we will have the access to it. Simultaneously, bank will have one more key, which without our access, they also cannot open. So the surety and safety is at the best compared to keeping all these precious things or important documents at our home. All these, when I talk about banking, all these are for us. All these, what it is all owned by us. Like say savings account, we deposit our amount. Current account, bank, companies open and companies transact their amount. And NRI accounts, again, it's a saving account where you can transact money within India, and if it is NRO, you can even transact from both the places. Deposits, again, it is our money which is going into the bank. Locker, it's of course, it has no monetary value, but we do pay some little charges to the bank. Again, it's an asset for us. So when I talk about all this, these are all owned by us, which comes in our asset side. Okay, and we will just move on to the opposite side, finance. So this finance is money lended by the bank. Okay, so like I said, we borrow money from the bank. So this is what it is. Finance means the banks lend money to the companies and to the individuals. So when the bank lends money to the companies, then it is a finance. Okay, normally bank lends to which businesses? That is small and medium enterprises, that is called SME. Or to start a business, when you have a venture and you wanted to propose, when you are to proposal to start a business, wherein the bank finances to start a business, and bank gives the capital, wherein you will have to return it back. And coming up to the individuals, individual take loans. So what kind of loans people generally take from the bank? That is the educational loans, that is designed for the students, basically, wherein the student to take loan for their higher education, and it is very liberal. The interest rate what is being paid is very less, and it is for a long term, wherein that's not the case with personal loan. Personal loan is taken to meet the expenses, the current expenses, wherein if you have something emergency and you don't have money, you approach a bank and you get a personal loan and you repay it on a monthly basis. Home loan is again, home loan is to purchase a home, a house. You have identified a house, you don't have enough money, enough savings out of it, you approach a bank, they give a part of it, part of the out. That is actually, it differs from bank to bank. Some banks gives 80% of the property cost or 85% of the property cost. It depends on the creditability of the customer. Okay, so home loans is basically given to a person to purchase or to buy a house. Let it be, there are many types of transactions in it. You have a direct builder case, that is a different chapter altogether. Then again, there is one more a loan that is related to home. There's a slight difference here. Home loan is something which you don't have anything and you go buy a home, a new flat or a new house or an individual house or a bungalow or whatever. A loan against property is something you already own a house, you already have a property, and you pledge it to take a loan, and that amount will be used for some other purpose. Like, for you are running a business and you need a capital. Okay, you need additional capital. So what you do, you already have a property, you already have a flat, you already have a bungalow or a piece of land, that you pledge it to the bank and as a security, and the bank gives money to you. Okay, so this money you utilize it, you invest in your business, you earn and you repay it. Okay, this is called loan against property or mortgage. So this is the small difference between home loan and a mortgage. Okay, so next comes the car loan. Of course, you might be easily understanding this. Car loan is to buy a car, whether it's a used one or a new one. So you directly, the bank directly pays the money to the seller, and the seller gives the car to you. And the surety here is the car is again hypothecated to the bank. Okay, so until otherwise you repay the entire loan amount, the car belongs to the bank. Car is the actual owner. Though the papers, though it is registered in your name, still you will get into an agreement with the bank, and that shows that the bank is the owner of your car. That is the case with the previous one, home loans and mortgage as well. Until we complete the entire loan, until we repay the entire loan, the property owner or the car owner is the banker. not us. So this is an asset part for the banker and a liability for an individual, whoever is buying it. Okay, so you might be driving a car, you might say that it is my car, but actually the owner is the banker, and you have the liability of paying it back till you complete the entire amount. The car does not belongs to you. Understand? Fine. Credit cards. Credit cards is again a liability to us because bank gives money, bank deposits money in our card where we have no savings here. We are without any contribution to it. We have no contribution, but the entire amount is given by the bank. We use it often for our purchases, whatever groceries we buy, and for buying tickets or whatever. Okay, for our, it is basically to, this product is basically designed to avoid cash transaction. Okay, you don't have to carry cash. For example, if you wanted to buy a laptop 15,000 rupees, maybe dinar it is very less, but if you go into India, you will have to carry some 15,000 rupees. If it is in a small denomination, then that's it, it will be in bundles. So to avoid all this, you will be given a card with a credit limit, and you go buy and come and you repay it directly from your account. So again, it's a liability. Whatever amount you are using, it's a liability on your account. Why I have highlighted only credit card in red color is because it is very essential and you need to know before using it, because there are a lot of formalities and lot of catch is there, and before using it, it is very much necessary for every one of us to understand how credit card works. That I'll elaborately explain you in my next video, in my next session. Okay, so when I have talked today, till now I have spoke about, in this slide alone I have talked about accounts: savings account, current account, NRI account, deposits, lockers on the bank's asset side. So whatever I have spoken here is your assets, and the bank's assets is finance and loans, educational loan, personal loans, all these loans, and credit card here. Okay, fine. So we will move on to our next screen. So this is what I was talking about. So how banks operate and what is the benefit, how banks earn money. So here if you see, banks gives loan, and from the loans it earns interest. This is the money coming in again into the bank. The deposits which I speak here is, which I shown here is fixed deposits or term deposits or recurring deposits. Whatever deposits you deposit for a long term, short term, these deposits out of this entire amount is getting into the bank here. And in your savings account, you put money, you frequently transact it. Whatever money you save it in your savings account, that is also held by the banker here. What they do is, our deposited money, whether it's in the form of fixed deposit, whether it's a form of recurring deposits, or it's your saving amount, everything is going into the bank, and bank is giving loans in the form of education loan, in the form of home loan, mortgage loan, or car loan, and out of that the bank earns interest. Okay, this is how the banking cycle works. And for us, if you see, for us, loans is a liability, and for the bank it is on the asset side, because if you remember in my previous slide, what you own is your asset and what you owe is your liability. Here, this is on the bank's perspective. Bank owes the amount we have deposited, right? Our money, what we have put in our savings account, that is our money, bank is supposed to return it back. Then that becomes a liability to the bank, and whatever loans we have taken from the bank, that becomes our liability and it becomes asset to the bank here. Fine. Now this is the most interesting part. Why I am talking to you all this? Any individual, minors, companies, pensioners, NRIs, a resident of Indian, non-resident can open a savings account in India. Okay, and amazingly, the eligibility criteria for opening an account is just a person has to attain 10 years. If you are 10 years and above, you are eligible to open an account and you can operate it individually. You can transact money, you can deposit, you can withdraw, you can use it. You can operate your own account in your name. Okay, there's a small criteria here for minors. According to the bank, minors means about below 10 years. So minors here is below 10 years. They can be accompanied by the parent or a guardian to open an account. Okay, below 10 years are considered as minors. They can also open an account, but for authentication, for authorizing, they need to have their parent or a guardian as co-applicant or the co-applicant of the account. Say joint account. Okay, what is the requirement to open an account? So you all might be thinking that banking system and to open a savings account is a big task. Definitely not. Definitely we are lacking with the procedures because now the technology has advanced in so high that the actual thing, why, the question why has completely eliminated. Just in few clicks, everything happens. Just to even open an account, you will have to just send your picture and you sign in and you just give the authentication on your mobile. Just by few clicks, your savings account is open. But that's not the case few years back. You will have to personally go into the bank and you have to deposit, you have to fill up a form, you have to fix a photo, and you have to give all these related documents which is asked by them, ID proof and address proof. So all these documents you will have to produce only then, and that too, it takes a process for them to manually do it. But now it is in few clicks, you will get an account number and you can immediately within 10 minutes time you can start operating your account. So that is the kind of technology we have now, and we don't know what it is going to be in future. Even today, if you see, just by sending a WhatsApp message, you can transact. You have online banking app in your mobile. You just click it, you make a transaction, finish. Later on, maybe in future, you will even have just your voice. You just send your voice, transact, send this money to this person, finish. The transaction is completed. All these things is possible. But with all this technology, what we lose here is the actual thing, how account is opened and and how it operates. So we are, with this technology, definitely all this main thing is opaque to us. So getting into that, that's entirely a different subject. Just to give a brief outline on the account opening here, you have to be 10 years and above. You are absolutely eligible for opening a savings account, and the documents required, what the bank wanted to actually know about the customers, that is what is KYC, that is know your customer. This is from the bank's perspective. It says this term is from the bank's perspective, where it says know your customer. So who is your customer? So for that we produce identity and address proof. Basically, identity and address proof is like Aadhaar card, passport, PAN, ration card, driving license. So in this, there are categories like Cat A, Cat B, Cat C that we will differentiate later on. And you can, once you just Google it, you will come to know what is Cat A document, what is Cat B document, what is Cat C document and all. So basically, in a document where you have your photo fixed, your name is completely mentioned, your date of birth is there, and address is mentioned, then it becomes a complete set of document. For example, Aadhaar card, you have your photo fixed there, your date of birth is mentioned, your address is mentioned. Similarly, passport, where your photo is fixed, your date of birth is there, your full name is there, your complete address is mentioned. So all these are comprises of your photo ID and your address proof. PAN card, of course, it has your date of birth, your name and photo, but address is missing in PAN card. Ration card, of course, it has all the three. Driving license, yes, it has all the three. So there are many documents wherein you can also submit it, like 10th certificate, your 10th mark sheet, wherein you will have the name. You can show it as a name proof and your date of birth proof, wherein your photo will be missing there and the address will not be mentioned there. So that you can use it as your date of birth proof. So all these three comprises of few documents, like that is what I have taken here. If you see in the slide, identification card is Aadhaar card, passport, and PAN card. Driving license is the three proofs which comprises all the three, and PAN card address proof will not be, the address will not be mentioned. Of course, ration card will have all the three. And to deposit, this is all this is the eligibility criteria for opening an account. So what is the eligibility criteria to open a deposit account? Deposit like fixed deposit or a recurring deposit, and the term deposit or whatever deposits I spoke in the earlier slide is the same. If you are 10 years and above, you are eligible to open a deposit account, whether it's a fixed deposit or whether it's a recurring deposit or it's a term deposit. And the same document, again, the same criteria applies here also. You need to submit KYC docs. That is again the identity proof and address proof. So this is the just an outline of account. I mean, who can open an account and what are all the eligibility criteria here. Okay, the next, what we will do is we will continue the session by tomorrow same time. So meanwhile, what we can do now, we can take questions. So if you have any questions regarding this, you can just shoot at me and I'll be pleased to answer you. And I would like to unmute, I would ask Mr. Taufik, who's our technical assistant, to unmute people who are raising hands. So what you can do is, if you have a question, just raise your hand in Zoom. There is an option in Zoom wherein you can raise your hand. So if you raise your hand, then I will come to know. We have Usaid Khan. I'll unmute you. Usaid? Yes, Usaid.
Yes, sir. Can anyone open a bank account?
Yeah, anybody, any individual can open a bank account. That's what I was telling. If you are about 10 years, you are eligible to open a bank account now.
And below 10 years, it need a
Below
guardian.
10, below 10 years, even below 10 years also you can open,
Can
but
open.
you will have to have your parent as a co-applicant.
Okay, sir.
And the best part here for minors for 10 years and above till the age of 18, when you get a major, when you turn major, there is no minimum balance to be maintained. Okay, you can operate your savings account in zero balance. Normally what happens when you open an account, if you are a major, you will have to maintain a minimum balance. Okay, a small amount has to be maintained throughout the tenure. So that is exempted for below 18 years category people. Is it okay? We have one more. I'm just. It is Muhammad Imaduddin. Muhammad Imaduddin, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Madhudin.
When are we supposed to pay the car loan?
When are we supposed to pay the car loan? Okay. So, for example, if you have taken a car, if you have bought a car from the dealer, okay, and immediately from the next preceding month, your installment will start. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Immediately after the loan is booked, the next preceding month, your installment will start. And what I suggest is, you are so young now, and if you are have an idea of buying a car when you grow up, so better start savings now. So it's better to open a savings account now and start depositing your pocket money, whatever you get from your father, your friends, your relatives. Okay, start depositing it in it. Start saving from now onwards. By the time you grow up, you get a license and you can own a car instead of going for a loan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Good. So we have any more questions here? Yes.
It appears on the chat window. Sir, how can we apply for an educational loan?
How can we apply for an education loan? Fine. See, when you have decided to take some, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So when you have decided to go for higher education, for example, if you have completed 12th and you wanted to do a graduation, and to pay the fees, you need some assistance. So that is why you go for a educational loan. So what bank does is, it requires the admission form from the college which you have opted. Okay, so you will have to obtain the fee structure, the admission form, and the confirmation from the college. With all these documents, you will have to submit it in the bank. Then the bank will sanction you the amount which has to be paid immediately. For example, if you are going for a graduation which is for 3 years, and at the beginning you will have to pay only first year's fees. So bank will release the amount for the first year. So that amount will be directly sent to the college, and you will be liable for that one. So that will be get credited to your loan account. The amount will directly be paid to the college. Similarly, the same thing happens on the second year, again on the third year. And when you will have to repay, that's the best part of education loan. So here, banks knows that you are a student and they are giving an education loan. There is no source of income for students, right? So how they will repay? So the repayment term starts on the completion of your graduation, and you get a job. On first salary, you start repaying. On getting your first salary, you start repaying. That's the best part of education loan.
Another
So you
question.
get an education. Yeah.
Another question on the chat window from Haifa Humayun. Can we take loan from a saving account?
No, savings account doesn't have that option, but definitely current account companies, current account banks gives a overdraft limit for the companies. Actually, current account is opened by the companies here, as it is treated as a separate entity, and for the operation of business and for the cash flow frequently, the banks allow certain amount that is called the overdraft amount. That means if a company has certain, for example, 10 lakhs rupees in its account, and the company has to pay, for example, 12 lakhs. Here, if the bank has given a facility of exceeding the amount what you have deposited, for example, if the bank has allowed you 2 lakhs to exceed from the amount what you have deposited, then your checks, whatever you issued for 12 lakhs will be honored. So it will not get bounced, and the bank will not say that the money will not be paid. So this 2 lakhs is the overdraft limit which has been assigned to the companies. That is not allowed in savings account.
Danish, you may
There is
ask
one
your
more
question.
question. There is one more question coming up in the chat. Is the option of Sharia compliance account available in India? So is the option of Sharia compliant account in India available? Yes, there are banks which operates in Islamic way. One of the bank is operating in Bangalore, which is Al Amin Bank, which is fully compliant with Islamic. They do have it's still recognized by the RBI in India. Soon it should be coming, because a lot of working is going on to bring in Islamic banking in India. Whatever banks as of date we have, which is under the guidelines of RBI, it's all conventional banking. No Islamic banking is recognized still. But on a private basis, Al Amin Trust, it's in Bangalore. It has a lot of wings like education. They run colleges. They have a trust. They have a bank. Al Amin has a lot of branches and divisions. They have a trust wherein the money which has been deposited, or that account has been created there, is according to the Sharia complaint.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. My question is, what happens if a person takes loan from the bank and passes away before repaying the whole amount?
It depends what kind of a loan he has taken. So can you give me any one which is running in your mind? Whether it's a car loan, whether it's a home loan or
home loan.
Okay. See, home loan, that's what I told you. Even though the property is registered in your name, you get into an agreement before the loan is sanctioned, wherein you clearly say that until otherwise the loan is fully paid, the property belongs to the bank. So what happens here is, if a person passes away in between, so the bank has the right to take the amount from his legal heirs. Okay. For example, in my case, if I pass away in between, then the liability will go into my legal heirs. In case if the legal heirs are ready to repay the amount, then that the loan will be converted in my legal heirs name and it will continue. Otherwise, if we don't have any legal heirs, or it is an individual and no legal heir is ready to take, in that case what happens is, bank takes the possession of the property, okay, whatever amount you have paid, and takes the possession of the property and sells it and auctions it, okay, and the amount what it gets, that is adjusted with the amount already paid, and the balance will be given to the legal heirs. I hope you understand I hope you understand what I said. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You got my point? You got it, or you didn't?
Yeah.
Fine. There is one more question coming up from Rayan Sheikh. Can minor open NRI account? What is the criteria? The savings account what a minor can open in India is the same for NRIs also. The age limit is about 10 years. If it is less than 10 years, you will
देखो
have to
unmute करने
accompany
पर मैंने
or
unmute
under
किया
a guardian.
लेकिन अभी तक क्वेश्चन अलाउ नहीं किया मेरे को.
Yeah, you can accompany your parent as an applicant, and the criteria again, the documents required are the same. The KYC documents which I told, address proof, ID proof. These are all the basic documents which is required to open an NRI account as well. Even minors can open an NRI account.
Hello.
Anyone?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. My question is any type of loan is permissible?
We have Muhammad
Musaddiq.
Musaddiq.
Yes.
Musaddiq.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
Good evening. My question is any type of loan is permissible as from the Sharia's point of view, especially like you described just now about the educational loan. So will it be permissible from the Sharia's point of view because the riba part comes in?
Yes. See, what is happening is here, whatever we see in our daily life is all conventional banking where they are interested in getting interest. The banks are really not interested in your car. The banks are not really interested in your properties. What they need is money. What they need is money in the form of interest.
Correct.
Okay. So when Islamic banking comes, here we have all Islamic bankings. In India, we have very limited. Like as I told you, Al Amin Bank is one operating, and that too, you cannot, they're not so well versed with, financing for big properties or big investments. They can, it just started for, to overcome short-term crisis or, people who are in a need for that moment. So that is where they lend money. When the Islamic banking starts, Islamic compliance has all the loans wherein the procedure and the working is entirely different. Okay. When I say in a conventional banking, for example, a home loan has been taken. Okay. I have taken a home loan for 10 years. I have paid 5 years. Okay. And balance after 5 years, I'm not able to pay. What happens here is the bank has the right to either opt for the entire property. They can take the position of the entire property, okay, for on behalf of defaulting the loan. Whereas in Islamic banking, if a loan has been taken, here what happens is the property is purchased by the bank. In conventional, what happens is I house and given it, okay, for a profit. The banks purchase it, for example, for 10 lakhs and it sells it to you for 12 lakhs and asks you to pay it in installment. So there is no, this is actually, I'm just giving you a brief idea how it works, Bulke. And in this case, what happens, if you have paid this loan for 3 years, for example, and after this 3 years, if you are not able to pay, you are 30% shareholder of the property. For example, if it is a 10-year term and you have already paid 3 years, okay, that means the amount is already fixed and you have already paid 3 years. That means you have already become 30% shareholder of the property. Even if the bank wanted to sell the property, you are eligible to get the 30% share of your own. So this is what Islamic banking works. This is how Islamic banking works in loans. And every month, whenever you pay, banks has an option that they give a bond for the equal amount that becomes your share on the property. Every month, for example, if you are paying 50,000 rupees, banks issues 50,000 rupees of a bond, which says that you are the owner of this share. I mean, you are the shareholder of this property for this 50,000 rupees. So that is how Islamic banking works. And that is there even in car loan. That this is how it works even in car loan. This is how it works with other loans as well.
How about education loan then?
Islamic banking, I'm not sure about whether they give education loan. It
Right.
is it can be for personal loan only, wherein again you will have to repay with some benefits. I mean with some profit, where I think they will be investing in some commodity and they get a profit out of it. I'm not sure about education loan. I have not heard about Islamic banking coming up with education loan. Maybe it could be in the form of trust, wherein the amount what has been given. So, hello. Yes, I think I'm connected now. So, any more questions?
There appears on the chat window, sir.
What is the interest rate on education loans? Could you as well explain more about the escrow account? No, I'm really not sure about what escrow account is, but the education loan interest rate is very minimum. I mean, compared to all other loans, it depends banks to banks. Nationalized banks gives it for a bare minimum interest. The nationalized banks interest rate ranges from 2 to 5% on the education loan. So this is the criteria. Most of the foreign banks don't have education loans. They don't give education loans, whereas in India, nationalized banks very much, they are bound to issue a education loan. They cannot say no until otherwise any criteria is not meeting. The interest rate is nominally is very nominal compared to the home loan or the car loan or personal loan. Any more questions? Fine. I hope you all enjoyed this session, and I think it has been a bit informative for you all. It has been a learning experience. Tomorrow again we will come up with the liability products of the bank, wherein we will discuss more about loans and how it works. We will see how the equated monthly installments are being calculated. Meanwhile, what you all can do is just in case if you have any questions, you can just raise hand. I can address it, or you can put it in the chat box or with your email ID. I'll definitely reply back to you. We have got one more question here. How many years does it take in order to repay the education loan? It depends again on the bank, how many years they allow you. Normally it is 5 years from you start earning. I mean, you start earning in the sense after your education, when you declare that you have already started earning. So it depends on that time, what is your salary, and see, it all depends on what is your repayment capacity basically. So if your repayment capacity is more, then the tenure will get less. If your repayment capacity is less, then the tenure might go a little bit more. Fine, I think we are all done for the day. Tomorrow we will join with the same time And I also request you to just share your email IDs. We have 2 more minutes to go. Share your email ID so that we can keep posting you with the series of webinars, which is going to be which is going to conducted by the Youth Leaders Club again, which will be telecasted in the webinar in the coming days. So we will keep you posted on that. Meanwhile, you can just upload your, you can update your email address so that we can keep you posted. We can share the link of the Zoom IDs and password. So till that time, stay safe, stay healthy. We will meet you soon tomorrow at the same time, the same ID. Thank you very much and all the very best. Thank you all.